This week, the Apostle James instructs his audience about asking for something. It's in James chapter 1. We're going to look at verses 5 through 8. And there's something absolutely amazing in verse 7, but we're going to take it one bite at a time. So let's start out James chapter 1, verse 5 from the ESV, and then we're going to look at some bits and pieces from the beginning and the end in Koine. So the verse says, "If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him." So let's look at the first part in Greek. Ede tis humon. So ede and if, tis humon. Tis is anyone. Humon is a genitive. It's plural, and it is you. It's the pronoun. You plural in the genitive case. If anyone from you or of you. It has kind of a partitive notion. Out of the group that makes up you plural, if someone in that group, if anyone in that group, and then we get the rest of it, lepetai lacks sophias, wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is practical knowledge. It's knowing what to do in a situation or in a circumstance. It's taking knowledge and applying it to real life situations. So there's the question. And if anyone of you lacks wisdom, aiteto, let him ask or let her ask. And it's ask whom? Ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach. But then we go to the last part, and this is where it gets interesting. Kai dothesetai auto. And it shall be given. This is a passive, this is a future passive verb in the third person singular. It shall be given auto to him or to her. It shall be given. That's a very sort of declarative statement. If a person among your group, within your group, lacks wisdom, practical understanding of what to do in a circumstance, let that person ask God, and it shall be given to him. What shall be given to him? Well, what is the passage about? It's about a lack of wisdom. So we can clearly see in it that he's saying wisdom shall be given to him. It's not about a sports car. It's not about a cure for cancer. It's not about a winning lottery ticket. It's about wisdom. And somewhere out there, someone's saying, well, it could apply generally to prayer for anything, and you can make an application or an extrapolation from what we're reading. But honest text-based interpretation requires us to acknowledge that the boundaries that the text set for itself is about wisdom and the lack thereof, and seeking a remedy for a lack of wisdom. If anyone among us, if anyone of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, and wisdom shall be given to him. Let's carry on and go to verse 6. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. Great stuff. So aiteto, let him ask, but let him ask en piste, in faith. So what kind of asking? An asking that's rooted and grounded in belief, in trust, in reliance. Piste. That's what faith is. It's belief, trust, acceptance, reliance. That's what it is. So that's the kind of asking. And then he says, meden dia krenomenos. So meden is and not. It's negation with the and or but in it. And not diakrenomenos, judging through, but it's in the middle voice. So this is a present middle participle, and it comes from krenomenos is just judging, but diakrenomenos in the middle voice is judging to and fro. So dia usually means through, but in the middle voice, something that's happening inside yourself, it's like a back and forth. So a person who's judging to and fro or back and forth within themselves is not acting in faith. It's acting in a ping pong match between faith and doubt, back and forth, back and forth. I kind of believe and I want to believe, but part of me wonders or worries that this is going to happen or not. And we're told that the person who asks should ask in faith and not in that back and forth sort of flip-flopping, wavering, vacillating judging. That kind of judging makes a person like a wave tossed in the sea and blown by the wind. So now we get to the big payoff. Let's go to verse 7 and get to the what I think is the great part of the passage. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. This is an interesting piece. Now let's look at it in Greek. Megar oiesto. Megar oiesto. So gar is for, me is negation, and oiesto is an imperative. It's a command, and it's present imperative, third person singular from oiomai, and by itself, without the negation, it would be an order to keep thinking. Keep thinking. For keep thinking, but here it's negated. Don't keep thinking, or you must not keep thinking, because it's present tense, it's ongoing, but it's negated. You must not keep thinking. That person, and here's where we get that person, ho anthropos ekenos, that man, that person must not keep thinking. And then we get the rest of it, hoti, that, lempsetai, he shall receive ti para tu kuriou, anything from the Lord. A person who is wavering, who is flip-flopping, who is judging to and fro, back and forth between faith and doubt, such a person must not keep thinking that he will receive anything from the Lord. Put that out of your mind. If you're in the posture of back and forth judging, of going back and forth between belief and doubt, when you're asking for wisdom because you've recognized you have a lack of wisdom and you don't know the right thing to do in a situation or a circumstance, you must not think in a continual basis that you will receive anything if in fact you're flip-flopping between trust and doubt. That's pretty extraordinary stuff. That's pretty remarkable. If a person asks in faith, fully relying and trusting and believing for wisdom, the first verse we looked at, verse 5, tells us that it shall be given to him. Not it might or it could, it shall be given to him. The disqualifying feature is a continual back and forth state between faith and doubt. I believe a little bit, but I also doubt a little bit. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to receive this wisdom that I'm pleading for. I just don't know. And verse 7, the big whammy, says the dynamic is if you're continually in a state of flip-flop, then you must not continually expect or think that you're going to receive anything, because you're going to receive nothing in verse 7. Pretty powerful and wild stuff. Let's go on to verse 8. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. Aner dipsukos. Dipsukos is die to psukos, soul or mind. We supply the he is. What kind of a man is he? He's a man of two souls or two minds. He's a double-minded man. Then we're told, akatastatos, that's a tough one to say, akatastatos, and paisais tais hodois autou. Akatastatos, from kastastas, is standing down, being rooted, being planted, but it's negated. Akatastastos is he's not planted firmly in all his ways. So there's no way of his, there's no place in his life where he's firmly planted in the ground. He's like a wave in the water. He's being blown to and fro. He's all over the place. He's a flip-flopper. His judgments are to and fro, back and forth. Sometimes he believes, sometimes he doesn't. And that makes him of two souls or of two minds, and such a person must not think, must not continually think or expect to receive anything. So such a person doesn't ask in faith but in vacillation, and should expect nothing. Pretty wild stuff. I want to go back around to the beginning, to the question that I was asking near the beginning, because there's a real tendency to take a passage like this and to apply it to a ton of different things. And extrapolation is legitimate and important, particularly in regard to wisdom, because how am I supposed to know what to do today if I don't apply lessons learned from other situations? That's all true, but to be a solid interpreter, to be an honest interpreter, we have to take the passage as it is written. And as it is written, it is about a person who lacks wisdom, who recognizes a lack of wisdom and is seeking wisdom. And how does one go about that? By asking the God who gives generously without reproach. And if that happens, if that asking is done in faith, the wisdom that is sought will be given. That's important. Before you get to the extrapolation, you have to see what the text is literally about. And it's literally about a lack of wisdom and seeking it from God, who will give it if you're seeking and asking in faith. Not about a sports car, not about a bass boat, not about the cure for cancer, not about wealth or a better job, but what should I do in this situation? What is the wise thing to do? The right application of knowledge in this situation. Hope that was good for you. If it was, please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, hit the dinger on the channel to let you know when there's new content. Leave me some feedback in the comments, and until next time, Cars Kairini Humine, grace and peace to you.